What I really would like to do is maybe ask our schools who are here to share with us their experience of the work that's been going on under the Flourishing Schools project.
Thank you very much. I'm Michelle Lawson and I'm the head teacher of Wilmington Grammar School for Girls. So we're a selective girls' grammar school. We have students from year 7 to year 13. So that's just after primary, starting at the age of 11 forward. Where are we? Well, as a school, we had a bit of a discussion and a vision about what kind of school we wanted our selective school to be. And being a selective school means that students are focused on the disciplinary knowledge, the content. They know at the end of the day they need to be high performing in those disciplines, and they have ambition for where they're going at A-level. But that meant that for our students, what they were unable to do was really deal with connectedness, because they stayed too much within boxes. So as a team, we worked together with the Laser Centre at Christchurch, Canterbury, to look at how we could develop a curriculum around epistemic insight. And we have created, as part of co-created research, which has been really exciting and has been an additional aspect of the work we've done, our staff worked with the team at the university to put together a curriculum that focuses around what it is to be a human. And we run this in the curriculum for year 7 for half of the year. They engage with real metacognition questions. So we teach them about disciplinary knowledge. We teach them about norms of thought and methods in answering those questions. And there's a real content start and a real exploration of those key challenges, which leads them to being able to form a sub-question of what does it mean to be human, and go and research it on their own and produce an academic poster on it. And they really do drive that agenda, they drive the questioning. Now, the spin-off from that has been across the school in the sense of them asking questions in all of their normal lessons that have engaged our staff in greater understanding of other people's curriculum, other people's disciplines. And it's challenged the perception of what's going on. It's also engaged my staff in some really high-level research, because they've got excited about big questions and the impact that it's having with our students' understanding and learning. I think the other thing to kind of pick up on your introduction, actually, is that we've seen an impact on our students' ability to deal with their mental health. Now, that was not something we ever planned to be a part of this, but because students are gaining an understanding that when you have a big question, there's normally more than one answer and one way to approach it. When they have their own struggle, rather than thinking, I need to solve this, there has to be an answer, they stop, they think, they explore, and they're willing to explore other options and other ways of dealing with. So our curriculum's in its 3rd year now. We're just starting that. I can't believe how quickly it started. We began in COVID, which is not the time to introduce a new curriculum. However, the students really engaged with it very, very well. And we are now at the point of developing the curriculum in year 8 and year 9. How have we done it? In a very selective school with not a lot of time. We have been creative and looked at how actually we can teach things with perhaps slightly less time, split the curriculum across a year, and I have an amazing senior team who deliver it above their normal allocation. So that's how we brought it in. It's absolutely transformed what we're doing in school and transformed actually our students' ability to make synoptic connections.
Thank you very much for that. And that is the way to do it. Thank you so much. Amanda, will you tell us a little bit about primary school?
Yes, my name's Amanda Dissington. I'm a senior leader but also a class teacher from Brompstone Primary School, and we're based in Broadstairs. But we have quite a high catchment of children from deprived backgrounds, quite a high percentage of pupil premium children. And our curriculum, I lead the curriculum. During lockdown, we found that the curriculum that we were delivering really didn't meet the children's needs anymore. We had a scheme that we were following. We were using cornerstones, and we found that it really wasn't engaging the children, wasn't designed for our children. So we took a big leap and we decided to design our own curriculum that would engage our Brompstone children that are quite unique in themselves. So basically, I contacted Christchurch because I started to research about big questions, because we want our children to be curious. Our strapline for our school is Dream, Believe, Achieve. So we want them to have high aspirations despite their backgrounds, and to really sort of like think out of the box, be creative learners. And then from there, we decided that we would literally base our whole curriculum around questioning. So we have big concept questions that run through the school every term. So this term we're starting as a whole school thinking about where do adventures begin. So that's right from the reception children all the way through. So that big question is all up around the school. Then Christchurch came in on an inset day and helped us design questions that were epistemic that could then be delivered instead of a class topic that we used to do that was quite dull. We then developed questions that would then be delivered through year groups. So that ranges from what is an adventure to what happened on the Titanic in year 6. So there's like, so basically those questions are tiered down. So that's throughout the whole school. And the children are loving it. We're using all the Christchurch resources. We're using the discipline wheel. We've also got epistemic lenses. So we've got big glasses in the classroom. So the children are thinking like a geographer, thinking like a historian, but also they're actually making links now. They're making links with knowledge, and they're thinking, well, I need to use both lenses to answer this question. I'm a year 5 teacher, so we literally did a science lesson the other day, and I just posed them, instead of standing there lecturing the children, I just posed them a question: how do we know the earth is round? So then we could go into Aristotle. We were doing experiments of looking at boats disappearing, and they were like saying, well, I'm looking at it from a historian's point of view, I'm looking at it from a geographer, I'm also looking at it from scientific. And it's really opening the world to our children, I think. It's really exciting. I'm very lucky to have all the staff on board. It's really has got a buzz around the school. Everybody, we've got sort of like expectations for the year that will be in every classroom. And I think it's going to really sort of revolutionise how we teach, but also bring our children on and give them an education they really sort of deserve, really. So, and also the well-being, you know, children, it is unravelling. The well-being. Children have, we did the recovery curriculum initially where we were looking at like how the lockdown affected the children, and it's had a delayed effect. And I think that children enjoying coming to school, they're loving these questions, and I think it's going to really help them make those links with knowledge and help them link the skills and really sort of like be aspirational, because their jobs that they're going to do aren't even invented yet. So we need to get them to be equipped for the world that they will be going into. So it's a whole school thing. We're very excited. We've got lots of big plans. So that's Brompstone at the moment.
It sounds like a very exciting place to be. And I love your motto, Dream, Believe, Achieve. Yes. I think that's absolutely wonderful. Yeah. And I'm going to hand over to Dana now very shortly, just to, we have a surprise on the back of everybody's seat, and Dana's going to lead us in unpacking that surprise, okay? So I just wanted to very briefly respond to both the schools and to echo what you had to say there about well-being. In the end, that concept of what does it mean to flourish, and the notion that a flourishing individual contributes to a flourishing community, to a flourishing nation, to a flourishing world at multiple levels. So that's a question we might explore in a short while in a broader discussion that will involve everybody. So thank you very much. Dana.
You'd like to move into these?
I think so.
Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Dana Zeidler from the University of South Florida. And I have to admit, I'm a little out of sorts this morning because I've just heard from Suzanne and reaffirmed by Amanda that the Earth is not flat. And I'm filled with a bit of dread right now. But that type of dissonance is really important for epistemic insight. And I think that's exactly the kind of things that I work on as well too, is to try to unbalance students to get them to think a little bit more broadly and through multiple perspectives. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later on, but I think right now my main function is to have you unpack some of your gift bag here for investigating big questions. And within that bag, I think the first thing to pull out is this handsome pair of glasses, okay? Anybody who's anybody will be wearing these today. And I'd like you to experiment with them, look through them different ways, put them on, look out the window, look at the lights. And in your own words, if you can kind of describe to me what you observe, what seems to be going on here, and does it change if you look out the window? And what kind of distinctions do you see?
Wow.
I have to get a picture of this. So what kind of things do you observe right now between looking at the lights above and looking at the windows? What distinctions, what similarities, what differences can you discern?
Shards of rainbows. Yeah.
Shards of rainbows, I heard one. Somebody would like to add to that?
In very specific patterns, if you're looking at the light, they move at very particular angles away from the light.
Okay.
There's also a depth, isn't there, to them? So we have some that are more prominent in this and this angle, but we've got some that are further back and they're at different angles. So there's quite a depth to what we can see.
I wonder if you took your glasses and you rotated them a little bit. I know it's hard to do when they're on your face. What seems to happen?
They connect. Yeah. Oh.
Do
Rotating with
they move in different directions or the same directions?
the same.
Are you sure?
Some opposite each other. Like a wheel, isn't it? Like
So some seem to go in one direction, some seem to go to the other. So
it's like a wheel, like a bicycle wheel.
Yeah. And the ones further back, yes.
I wonder what happens if you try to close one eye and then you rotated them again.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah.
Does the direction seem to do anything differently to you?
Oh, they're all going in the same direction.
No, they're not.
Aren't they?
No, they're not. Not for me.
Oh, okay.
And there's almost another layer beyond.
There seems to be more of when you just look with one eye.
So I was wondering if the order of the colors is the same to you, looking at the lights versus the windows. I realize that the length of them may look different. What about the order of the colors?
It's the same. It's the same.
It's the same.
Could you describe one of those colors? Let's take
Purple.
a purple one, okay?
At the end.
Red.
And
And red are the other.
Yeah, red.
so red's on one end, purple's on the other,
Correct.
okay? So what we're looking at is a really unique kind of thumbprint. In a sense, a light thumbprint could be a chemical thumbprint too, because I happened to do a little research before I came here. Actually, that's not true. I did a little research the moment I arrived here, and if you look at the stacks of books that are on that shelf behind you, something seems askew. Anybody notice anything askew?
There's a book missing.
Oh, there's a book missing. So I happened to find in all these volumes a philosophical transaction from 1925 to 1926. And I'm a speed reader. So I found things that look like this. Can you make out what this looks like? How would you describe this? Is it anything a little similar
Yes.
to what you were just looking at?
Yeah.
So this is a spectrograph. Unfortunately, in 1925, they only produced this in black and white. And this is a spectrograph of a particular element. So we find that every element has its own unique thumbprint in a way. And depending upon what element is being shown a light source, or in this case, burned, it produces a unique set of what we call spectral lines. So the lines that you saw looking at those lights are spectral lines, and I think most of you probably recognize the acronym of Roy G. Biv, right? And they always appear in that same order. But I wonder, when you're looking at this, can you see anything beyond the red? Or beyond the blue?
Yeah, there's like a maroon beyond the red.
So suppose you went about an inch or two past the red. Do you see anything there? No, the answer is no, unless you're a bat. And then you'll be able to see some infrared lines, right?
To take off your chest.
And the other direction, where the blue and indigo, ultraviolet. So there are some animals that can actually see that because of the rods and cones that they have in their eyes are sensitive to that, but we have a limitation. But it's so brilliant that we can see at least what we do see, this rainbow of colors too. And so I think these are a nice way, fairly inexpensive way, to get kids to begin to ask kinds of questions, make observations, make different kinds of inferences to explain those observations. And they're the beginning of what we would call epistemic insight, or transformative transformations. We talk about transformations in education and transformations in science, and just because things are new and different, it doesn't make them transformative, because you could just rearrange the classroom and you could rearrange the chairs and it will be a different transformation. It looks different. But for it to be transformative, something has to happen up here, right? There has to be some type of awareness or insight, like I learned about today, being the earth, that's right. And it opens up a whole new way of thinking. And the more we get kids to interact with one another, they're forced to confront different perspectives. And how do you account for that? What evidence can you find to still support your prior belief system? What evidence do you have to support the way you seem to interpret these? Because we might agree on the observations, but our interpretations and the causal factors behind those might differ. And that's the beauty of science when we begin to have these types of discussions. So this is a very simple way, I guess, to get kids involved in this. Do we want to move on to a different one?
Okay, so my big question, or the big question that we're looking at, is, can a robot dance? So what you have here is an interactive disciplinary wheel. Okay, so Dave the duck is in the middle. So what you need to do is you need to shake it gently so that Dave the duck goes to different disciplines. Okay, stop. Perfect, so we've got maths. So we might think how we look at that question from a mathematical perspective. So we could talk about measurement and how we measure the robot moving over time. Okay? Okay, now you're going to have a go. Okay, so we've got computer science. How is computer science answering that question, can a robot dance?
Well, it's looking at the computer program to make it do those moves.
Brilliant, so computer programming and how it's doing those moves. So I'm looking at our A-level students. Have you got a big question you might want to investigate?
Yeah. Why do we exist?
Why do we exist? So what will you talk about from astronomy perspective?
So maybe for formation of planets and how maybe if life needs water to exist, then the formation of water on planets and stuff.
Brilliant. So we've come up with an idea of the individual disciplinary perspectives. You've just talked about water and how it exists and whether there's life on different planets. So I can automatically begin to connect that to biology and see about the biological perspective. So once we've got our disciplinary understanding, we can begin to blend those different disciplines together to have how those voices interact with each other to help us construct answers to that big question. Okay, let's do one more. Okay, and then we've got English. So what's the English of why are we alive?
We could look at
What it is to be alive.
What it means to be alive, your idea?
like the Bible and what other people think about why.
Ah, brilliant. So I like that, the English and the linguistics of what it means to be alive.